Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the 2014 movie Ninja Turtles Michelangelo from Playmates Toys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the last of the 4 turtles in this brand new movie line. As you can see, Michelangelo comes on the standard blister card packaging seen from the new film, featuring that bright and vibrant green color in the background with the brand new Ninja Turtles movie logo emblazoned across the top. And running alongside the left side of the box are images of the 4 turtles from the film, with Mikey's image being on the lower left corner of the blister bubble, making the card back slightly different for each of the 4 turtles. Flipping it over to the back side, we just get a description of the new movie up top, and below that, a view at a selection of the new movie figures that are currently hitting stores. Alright, let's take a look at the fun one, the party dude, Michelangelo, outside of the packaging. Now, Mikey here is definitely the smallest of the new turtles. This particular figure is a lot tinier, and he just feels a lot smaller upon taking him out of the box. He stands only about 4.5 inches tall, so he's quite a bit shorter than the rest of his brothers. But I really like that there's a size difference between the 4 turtles. Once again, I feel like the new movie design translated very well into action figure form. He looks pretty cool. He's wearing the traditional orange bandana going right across his eyes, which are whited out on this figure. And again, I'm going to say that I love the whited out eyes. I'm glad that they went that route instead of adding the new pupils from the movies, because the white eyes just look better in action figure form, I think. He's got the ties from his bandana hanging down on either side of his head, and they're draped a little bit better on the actual body, unlike Leonardo's, which were kind of sticking straight out. Below that, you're going to notice that he's got a lot of different sculpted detail going on here. All of these guys have a new look, and they're wearing a lot of stuff, and Michelangelo is definitely one of the guys who's wearing a lot of weird things. His look is one of the looks that I'm not real sure how I feel about it yet. It's one of those things I'm going to have to wait until I see what he looks like in the movie, but his upper body, you'll notice that he is wearing kind of the belt sash going crisscross across his chest there. And he's wearing some chains around his neck, so I guess he's wearing necklaces in this movie. And a weird thing about this figure, while the chains are mostly painted silver, you'll notice that there's some spots that were missed. And on top of that, the part of his front shell there that's usually supposed to be tan, the part between the top part where the sash is crisscross is completely unpainted. It's all green. So it kind of makes it look like he's wearing a V-neck or something. It's a little weird how it didn't get painted on here. One of the other things that's a little strange about Mikey is around his waist, he's got a hooded sweatshirt tied around it. I mean, you can see the sleeves hanging down in the front, and flipping around to the back, you can see the hood there. And he's wearing full pants, and the pants look like the bottoms of a wetsuit or something. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but it's definitely the look he definitely has. And he's wearing sneakers with his Ninja Turtles toes just kind of poking out of the front of them. It's a weird look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but I will say that the sculpting and everything on the figure seems really nicely done, and the paint job for the most part is nice and clean, and he's even got a lot of painted details. I mean, the shoelaces are painted orange, there's an orange deco on the side of the shoes, there's orange lines painted on the blue kind of wetsuit thing he's wearing, so the only place on the whole figure where there's definitely a missing paint deco is on the upper chest. So let's take a look at the articulation here. Just like we saw with the other 4 turtles, the head can look left and right, but it kind of just cocks left and right because of that hunched over back. He's got ball joints at the shoulders, so the arms could go outwards, forwards, and backwards, swivels at the elbow, as well as an elbow bend, and again, no wrist articulation. He's got nothing in the waist there, but the legs are on hinge joints so they can move outwards. The hoodie there hinders the articulation just a little bit, but the legs can still move forwards and backwards. There's swivels at the knees, a standard knee bend, and again, nothing at the ankles. So as far as accessories go, Mikey includes 2. First of all, he includes 1 pair of his signature nunchuck. Now, just like we've seen in the past, these are just done in a solid color yellowish plastic. There's no paint deco or anything like that, and the chain is also molded in plastic. It's unfortunately not a metal chain, it's not a rope, which makes it very hard to pose, and it's going to get stress marks on it, so definitely be careful when you bend it around. You don't want to snap it in half. Once again, just like with all the other turtles, since he doesn't have wrist articulation, there's not a lot of good poses you can actually get out of the nunchuck. The other thing that's kind of a bummer, he only comes with 1 pair. I would have really liked to see him have 2 pair of nunchuck like we usually get, but instead he comes with this second weapon, which is the triple nunchuck or the section staff or whatever it's called. I know there's other names for it, but essentially it's like a triple nunchuck. And it's just like the other nunchucks, so the rope is done in that same kind of plastic. It doesn't really flex around too much, so your posing options are kind of limited with it. And unfortunately, Mikey doesn't have anywhere to store his weapons when not in use, so you're either going to have to pick which one you want in his hand or put both of them in his hand. You can't store them elsewhere otherwise. Now, Mikey's also got the brightest green skin tone of the bunch, and again, that matches up with what we saw recently on the Ninja Turtles version of Mikey. I really like that not only do all 4 turtles have different sizes, but they also have the different skin color. It's definitely something that we've seen on a lot of past versions of the Turtles, and I'm glad that it stuck with the new movie versions here. Alright guys, it's comparison time. So here's a look at the new movie Michelangelo standing alongside the recent Ninja Turtle versions of the character. And here he is alongside his past movie counterpart, movie star Mikey. And since there have been so many versions of the character in past years, here he is with a whole bunch of Michelangelos from various Ninja Turtles toy lines. So there you go guys, there's a look at the brand new movie Michelangelo figure. Now, aside from his look, which is just something that I'm not quite sure how I feel about yet with the hoodie and the pants and the shoes and all that stuff, the figure itself is still really nicely done. The sculpt work is good, and for the most part the paint job is really good, with the exception of some missing paint on his chest there. I still feel like the figure could be a lot better if it had articulation at the wrists and the ankles, which would allow us for some better poses. But otherwise, it's still a nice solid figure, and it'll definitely look cool standing alongside the rest of the movie figures in this lineup. The new 2014 movie Ninja Turtles figures are hitting store shelves right now, so happy hunting, and until next time.